Welcome to Kaji's Healing as a Practice, immersive listening experience. A desire for growth, healing, or expansion of self-awareness has likely drawn you to this moment, here, today. Welcome to your journey. As with any journey, it is useful to reflect on our expectations for ourselves and ensure that those expectations are realistic and attainable. What would it mean for you to be healed from trauma, anxiety, or grief? Would that mean that you no longer experienced symptoms of anxiety, or that the grief was a distant memory? Would you wake up one day and feel better? Often, the idea of emotional healing through self-awareness is intertwined with the expectation that we will someday be healed. This expectation perpetuates the idea that if we do the right things and check all of the boxes, we will be rewarded with an unwavering sense of fulfillment, joy, and self-awareness. As alluring and straightforward as this sounds, this framework allows us to feel a sense of disappointment, frustration, and decreased self-worth if we cannot achieve the level of healing that we aspire to. The most difficult part sometimes is that we don't even know what we need to heal from. So the first step is deep introspection to find the root cause of our pain. For example, Gabor Mate, an internationally renowned speaker and author, is highly sought after for his expertise on addiction, trauma, childhood development, and the relationship between stress and illness. He describes trauma as a wound that has not yet healed. Not what happened to you, but rather what happened inside you because of the trauma that you have experienced. He has identified 10 core traumatic events that can wound people, from physical, sexual, and emotional abuse to loss of a loved one, violence, neglect, divorce, poverty, and racism. Whatever trauma you have experienced can have a small and big impact on your overall well-being. What are our essential needs as human beings, from children to adults? To be close to our parents, to be taken care of, to be seen, to be heard, and accepted. This is the expectation of the child. If the expectation is met, the child will develop in a healthy way. And just like if you deprive plants of the sun, they may still develop, but they may not develop in the most beneficial way. The same for children who don't have the capacity to comprehend, digest, and protect themselves from the environmental trauma caused by people or events. Often, we grow as adults and we carry the suppressed trauma within ourselves. As adults, this suppressed trauma may show up in the form of not feeling safe, to not self-express ourselves in a healthy and authentic way, feeling frustrated for not being valued for who we are, and even self-silencing ourselves. Or we may become very demanding, compulsive, seeking attention by trying to be impressive, and very charming. With time, what happens is that our personality then becomes a reflection of not who we fully and truly are, but of how our trauma shaped us to be, and that tension is visible to us. The impact of being wounded could cause disconnection from oneself, others, and the world as a whole. But most important is to know that the trauma you have experienced does not define you. It's a part of you, but one that, if aware, can help us to truly become ourselves. It's important to recognize traumatic events as events that often we must look at with a deep level of forgiveness and grant ourselves permission not to be perfect. So, What if we viewed healing as a practice that is a part of a process? Viewing healing as a practice means that healing is something that we intentionally engage in every day, without the expectation of linear growth directly towards a single goal. We can allow growth to become a spiral staircase rather than a ladder. When you walk around the spiral staircase, you allow yourself to see a panoramic view of your surroundings, and the journey, the practice of healing, becomes more beautiful and more sustainable. When we view healing as a practice, we can also appreciate where we are in our journey and cultivate gratitude for our progress. As you begin your healing journey, you may find that you view healing as an unattainable goal. You long for whatever healing would mean, but do not yet believe that you yourself can accomplish it. The idea of healing can feel both exciting and daunting. You may still need to have the confidence within yourself to access your healing. However, when you begin to allow yourself to take step towards healing, like being here now, you realize that you are more than capable and more powerful in creating your future than you dared to imagine. You may begin to see glimpses of the life that you longed for. However, as you walk towards healing, you may also begin to notice more parts of you that crave healing. The more light we shine, the darker the shadows seem. Facing the darker parts of yourself is intimidating, but it is also a necessary part of the path forward. The more practice you gain in walking through your darkness, the less intimidating the darkness becomes. This is where healing resides, within your internal strength and the knowledge that whatever darkness you may face, you can overcome it and lead it towards healing. Healing is the process of becoming confident in our ability to face our darkness and turn towards it rather than away from it. There will always be more darkness. Such is the nature of life. But we also have an endless capacity for light, and thus healing. Healing is not an end goal because there will be no end to the darkness of life or the darkness within us. If we expect that we will reach a state of exclusive positivity, we will be disappointed, and we will constantly feel broken. Rather, if we cultivate confidence in our capacity to heal our darkness, we will be able to walk the path of healing with our self-assurance and confidence for whatever lies ahead. Healing then becomes our practice rather than our metric for success. When there is no defined end goal of healing, because healing is similar to a broken bone, even when it heals, there may be a scar that is visible, but it will no longer be painful. You are who you are today, at this moment, because of the positive and negative experiences you have had throughout your life. No amount of healing or self-awareness will allow you to change the events that you are healing from. However, you do have the ability to decide how to grow through those events. As you embark on your healing journey, allow yourself time to reflect on your goals and purpose of this journey. What brings you here now? What goals guide you toward a practice of healing? How does this practice align with who you want to become? The path towards healing will not always be an easy one, but you are worth the discomfort. Reflecting on your why at the onset of your journey can help you cultivate internal motivation that will sustain you throughout this process. You have already made the first step by centering yourself and allowing yourself to become hopeful for your future. Now, slowly inhale. Exhale. Begin. As always, we initiate you now to take a moment to step away from the screen. Find solace in self-reflection. Embrace what you've acquired. Apply intention and give it purpose. Take a moment to journal your thoughts, meditate, and cherish this moment of introspection. Reconnect with your inner self and with the power of your heart and mind. The secret to healing lies beyond the digital realm. It is within you. The secret to healing lies beyond the digital realm. It is within you.